Empirical Alignment, Part 1 of 11. From a distance of 149,597,870 kilometers, the nearest star shone mercilessly down on 35.8141 degrees north and 82.1931 degrees west, but even beneath the cloudless azure that framed the steamy locale, today the obliqueness of the star's rays shone gently on the inhabitants below. With a fortnight separating the 23-degree axially tilted northern hemisphere locale from its winter solstice, an astronomical alignment that allowed the hairless apes that scurried over the incredible long, comparatively narrow, dramatically peaked and valleyed strip of land that lay between seemingly endless oceans to go about their days with little fear of damage from the bombardment of cosmic radiation that currently pelted our troop from 7:28 in the morning until 5:17 at night. The apes were nonetheless rightly wary of destruction. Though indigenous to the planet, the pink-tailless apes were extraordinarily susceptible to damage from heat or cold, exposure to the sun, or damage from the planet's other inhabitants, whether those threats came in simian, ursidae, canine, feline, or microscopic form. Even now, when the omnipresent hazards that threatened disfigurement, dismemberment, and survival to the simians were diminished by the easy living of the season, the hairless apes had to remain on guard, lest they fall prey to the threats that surrounded them. Life, with its constant competition for survival, was easy for very few of the planet's inhabitants, and even those few would come to the same ashes to ashes, dust to dust ending that awaited all life below the brutal sun that broiled down from above. But today, beneath a blue sky with moderate temperatures, calm winds, and dead seas, the hairless apes relaxed and frolicked, ecstatic to have a respite from the crouching destruction that was ever heedful of opportunities to pounce, to kill, to feed off the apes, to survive. The apes smiled in self-congratulatory deception, hopeful that their current life of ease would continue. It didn't, of course. That night, the apes gathered together for mutual self-defense, were shrieked into wakefulness by the piercing screams of first one, then two, and finally all four of the perimeter sentries whose job it was to keep the sleeping troops safe from outside predators. Upon hearing the screams, other large and fierce apes, males who had stood guard the night before or the night before that, bolted from their nests, slumber cast off, and ran to the aid of Mike, Humphrey, Figgin, and Fabin, the four posted warriors cast sentries on watch. Finding all four sentry posts deserted, the awakened warriors directed the troop to form a tight circle as the powerful, well-trained, and naturally aggressive simians patrolled the outermost ring. Their backs to those they protected, their eyes wide as they searched the dark, mountainous land that was illuminated by nothing save starlight filtered through a high jungle canopy. The guards stood thus on high alert, venting their rage with impotent beats against their chests, infuriated but powerless against an unseen and unknown threat. Through the long hours, the heavens slowly spun above their heads as the dark of night slid toward twilight, when Graybeard, the largest and fiercest of the warrior caste, set off alone in the still monochromatic morning to examine the outlying area. The troop's fear was palpable when the powerful silverback Graybeard set out, and the news he carried with his return in no way and to no degree soothed the vexations of those he'd hoped to assuage. "Nothing," he said, addressing the group as the sun peaked above the horizon. "There is nothing. No bodies, no blood, nothing. It is as though our brothers have vanished into the night sky." "How can this be?" implored Passion, the eldest mother, the female who had lived longest of any woman in the troop, the woman who had seen more than any of those gathered. "We heard the screams, terrible screams of dread from mighty warriors, must be accompanied by evidence of a great struggle." "Nothing," repeated Graybeard gravely, frustration tinging the answer of this brave ape who had risked his life in reconnoiter. "There is nothing, revered mother. They have vanished." The surrounding sea of apes muttered in fear, muttered in confusion, and muttered in disgruntlement at the news from Graybeard, the fiercest among them. They muttered, but no amount of muttering was able to cast light into the midst of darkness, to displace any of the despair with a glimmer of hope, or to instill knowledge or courage into the cowering.